hop into talking about equine first aid. So today I'm with
Okay.
Heather, and she is my co-instructor in the equine first aid course. So welcome, Heather. And
Thank you.
just tell us a little bit, tell us about you and your background. How long have you had horses?
Yeah, so I've had horses my whole life. I really can't remember a time that I haven't had a horse. I would say about 3 years old is when I was introduced by my parents, and then I was barrel racing at 7, and then I was riding on the Minnesota State Drill Team at 10. I was the youngest rider, and then from there it was high school, college rodeo, and here I am, years and years later.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so
awesome.
my whole life.
So as a lifelong horse owner, you obviously know how important it is to have some basic first aid training because horses will, if anything, they will get hurt at some point. So tell us a little
It's
bit about
not
what that
if,
means
it's
first.
when, right? Yes, for sure.
So tell us how you got into first aid.
So, well, exactly. With that being said, you really want to have a basis of knowledge because horses they'll get into something at some point. So, I just really wanted the education for myself because sometimes the vet can't get there in a timely fashion. So if you can just get a jump on whatever the problem may be, that is the situation that really sparked my interest in the veterinary world. So my horse was injured and I didn't know how to take care of the wound, which was really strange to me because I had horses my whole life. But then when you're in the emergency situation, you almost panic. And so I really knew in that point in time that I needed the education, to not panic, but just simply know how to take care of the wound itself, but then get a jump on it before the vet was there. And so that's the course that kind of starts going through all of that.
Yeah, yeah, so true. It is really important to know what to do. I mean, I've had horses my whole life too, and I can't even name all the times that they've gotten injured or,
Exactly.
had lacerations, kicks, fractures even. I mean, all kinds of stuff, you name it. Bug bites,
Yep.
allergic reactions, colic, as you mentioned. So yeah, really important to kind of know what you're dealing with and also know when is it an emergency that you need a vet and what can you do in the meantime while you're waiting.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So with those situations, that's another reason what sparked my interest in the education is because I wanted to know where can I save some money? Where can I do these things at home? Because I felt like I was calling my vet all the time or just taking them to the vet and then they charge you or you have them come out to the house. It's $150 and they're like, oh, just, here's some decks. And so when I started learning over the years, I'm like, well, I can do this at home. There's certain things that you can learn. You don't have to be a veterinarian, but there's like this gap of not knowing anything and being a veterinarian, right? Like you need to fall somewhere in between as a horse owner, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're struggling with this in your area, but here we have a shortage of horse vets. So that's another thing too. A lot of times people find themselves in an emergency situation and they can't get a vet to come out. So, and unfortunately, they keep saying that there's going to be more of that because a lot of students coming out of vet school are choosing to do small animals, and it's hard to find equine vets. So again, it's going to be even more and more important for owners to know how to do some basic first aid and health stuff with their horses.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's also very, very costly. So, what really pushed my education forward is when my colt, he was 6 months old, and I don't know what happened. My facility is very, very safe. Everything I make sure, as safe as possible. So he literally cut his leg down to his cannon bone, down to the bone. Still to this day, I don't understand what happened. So that's a really good example. They can get into anything. Like even if you think your facility is really super safe, they'll find a way. Well, what happened, there was a couple of situations that I was dealing with that happening is one, I was dealing with a baby. So he was not handled very much. And then secondly, it was down to the bone. And so we were dealing with a very, very serious injury that needed, very, very high-tech medical attention, basically. So when the vet came out, she did the whole treatment. Of course, it's in the middle of the night, right? Because it's always in the middle of the night. And so, I had the emergency fee and all of that. But after it was all said and done, she had to come back. The treatment plan was for 6 weeks to come back every single week and change that bandage. It was $200 every time she would come. It was a farm call and then the actual procedure to change the bandage. And we had to do demosamine gel because he was a baby and he didn't want to be handled, and you're basically going to get kicked. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, $200 a week now? It was like $2,000 for that injury. And so that's when I decided I need to learn how to do this. I can do it. And I did. And she came out 2 times. I watched her, I filmed it, and I learned how to do it from there. And that was kind of the start of my journey. And then I became a vet tech, and then it was just, I couldn't get enough knowledge after that.
Yeah, I think wrapping is one of the really important things, which you do cover in the course. That if you know how to do it correctly, it definitely can save you a lot on vet expenses if you know how to, clean and then rewrap an injury.
Yeah. And with that being said, if you wrap incorrectly, you can really do a lot of damage. So that is one of the topics we go through in the course. And it's really important to know how to wrap the right way and the right direction. Because if you wrap the wrong direction, you can bow a tendon. There's lots of things that can happen if the bandage is too tight. Yeah, there's some complications that you can add to the injury if you're not prepared or if you don't know what you're doing.
So how do you assess students then if they are learning how to wrap a leg? How do you make sure that they're wrapping it correctly?
So there's videos in the course that show you examples on how to wrap. And then we have students, if you're getting certified, you can you need to submit a video of yourself actually wrapping. And then I can watch that video and make sure that you're doing it correctly. And then there's feedback along with it. So if it's not done correctly, then we will give you feedback on how to correct the issue and then have you resubmit the video.
Okay. And now, would you recommend the first aid course for professionals or horse owners or everybody?
Everybody, actually. I think in the education space, in anything that you're studying, I don't think there's one person that knows everything, about every topic. And so if you just get one nugget out of the course, it's worth it. And it's just sometimes review or, oh, they do it a little bit differently. I like that technique better. Or, wow, I didn't know that. And so that's my opinion. I think it's for everybody. Veterinarians, maybe that would probably be the questionable person just because they're, highly educated. And this is really, for level 1, basics with a little bit of advanced techniques in there. But I mean, if you're a vet, why not? Or recommend it to your vet techs that you're having work for you. Going through the course, it just kind of gives you a baseline of what we offer, and then you can recommend the course. And then anyone else, of course, not a veterinarian, for sure. Especially people that just have horses in their backyard. That's probably the most, the person that needs it the most is not having any education at all. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it could be helpful too, like if you're a barn manager or a groom, you work with horses in some aspect. I think it could be helpful if you are trying to find a job and you can tell somebody that you have this first aid certification. I feel like that would just enhance
100%.
your chance.
100%. Yes, for sure. I worked at the track as a vet tech. And really, when he hired me, I really didn't have a lot of knowledge. I went to 1 semester of vet school, but I didn't get a degree or anything like that. And so he actually told me, he's like, I prefer people to hire that don't have those vet tech degrees because I want them to do things my way. Right. So it's just having like the baseline of it, because it would have been helpful for me to go in and know a little bit more than I did, because I had to ask a lot of questions. And then he got annoyed. He's like, why are you asking me so many questions? I'm like, because I don't know and I want to do it correctly. And so it's just a knowledge. Or like you said, if you're a groom or a barn manager and you're there by yourself and something happens, you know what to do right away. And then you call the owner, hey, this is what's happening. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to call the vet? I can get started on, the injury or whatever. So Yeah, definitely. It's an awesome course.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's great because I think it's one of the few, I mean, there might be more out there, but mostly when I see equine first aid courses, they're in person. So it's something you'd have to travel to and take that time out of your schedule. But this is so convenient with it being online and people can just complete it at their own pace. They can take as much time as they need. And more importantly, they can refer back to it. So if they have a horse that needs its leg wrapped, they can literally grab their phone, look at the course, and watch how to wrap it while they're right there, trying to do it in real life. So I think that's super helpful because I know for me personally, when I go to in-person courses, I'll often forget little details of things. So it's nice to be able to go back and review that.
100%. Because I did actually take it wasn't a certification course, it was a certificate of completion course. And that's another place that my journey started with equine first aid was after taking that workshop yeah, I guess it was a workshop, but you got a certificate at the end, but it was an 8-hour day. I'm telling you, the last 2 hours, I have no idea what she said. I have no idea what the topics were. And then going back, I'm like, wait, what? And I was trying to remember the information, but there wasn't anything to refer back to. So this is so handy because there's lifetime access and you can just refer back and review the material. And there's even things that are added as the course moves, forward in time. We keep adding, new information too. So I've noticed even with the massage course that I took from you, I go back, I'm like, oh, it's only 93% because you keep adding new material.
Yeah, actually, I have students ask that all the time. They're like, I completed this course. Why does it say it's not 100%? And I'm like, that's because we added new stuff. And
Right.
it doesn't
Which is so
affect their
awesome.
certification in any way. They're still certified, but it's their indication that we added new stuff so they can go back and look at it if they want to. So
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, like we're always learning, there's there's never a day that you're not learning, right?
yep, definitely. Well, yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I think it's really important. I think all horse owners should take the first aid course. I think any kind of equine professional should take it. Definitely just a great certification to have additional knowledge for all different kinds of emergency situations. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to talk with us about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah. No, I encourage everybody to check it out because it's really good information and really handy to have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.